Okay, so here are some of my classic game cartridges. These are for various systems. I have a lot of Atari 2600, some 5200, 7800, some Intellivision games, Odyssey games, and just some computer cartridges. And I'll just kind of show them off. I apologize about the lighting. This just is not a very good spot in my room for lighting. But this is kind of a typical shelf of somebody who collects a lot of Atari games. You're always going to have a big stack of games like this. And you're going to have a lot of the same games that pop up in everybody's collection. Games like Pitfall and Kaboom and Combat and, Pac-Man, etc. But I also like to get games that are kind of funny titles or, odd games that you don't see very often. And I kind of arranged them based on their brand, just because I like the way they look. Like the Activision games always stand out. iMagic games, always look nice. And just the standard Atari games. A big stack of them, I think, is just kind of a thing of beauty. These are 5200 games. Like I said in my other video, I don't have the ability to play these because I don't have a working control. But I like these are big cartridges. I like them. And the games look really nice on the TV. I just can't play them, but I've got some cool games. Hubert, Pole Position, Centipede, River Raid, I love this game. Breakout. Mario Brothers is a Nintendo-made games for Atari, which is kind of cool. Pac-Man, it's a pretty good arcade game version of it. Over here you just have, these are for Atari computers, and these are just other games. I don't even remember where I got these, but like, Pole Position, Galaxian, etc. These here are Intellivision games, and there's iMagic. Their cartridges look just like the Atari ones, but they're smaller. This is Atlantis. It's one of my favorite classic games. And lots of space games, lots of space shooting games, or some kind of shooting games. Star Strike, Space Hawk, another Space Hawk, Space Armada, Space Spartans, Astro Smash. Kind of had a fixation. And these are these are Atari games, but these are kind of these funky, odd-sized cartridges. Of course, the one stands out, Adventures of Tron, just because it's a Tron game. Here we have some boxed games. This is for the 5200. This is, I just thought this was cool looking artwork. It's a Star Trek arcade strategic operations simulator. Never played it. Don't know. I like the box. It's cool looking. And this is something called Shark Attack. This is another game I've never played, but it looks kind of like a Pac-Man ripoff. I bought it because, how often are you able to get a classic game in a box like that? Now for my Odyssey games. This is The Quest for the Rings. This was a big deluxe game made for the Odyssey. This is kind of like, in a way, like the Legend of Zelda of its time. It came in this big deluxe box. It opened up, had cool artwork, had this golden cartridge, which was really unique, and had all these various playing pieces, and it had an overlay you put on the keyboard of the Odyssey that supposedly had, ramifications for the game you were playing, but it didn't really. It was just really cool looking. And I got a few other games in their boxes. Baseball, Invaders from Hyperspace. Got a couple copies of Casey Munchkin. This is a three-game cartridge. Speedway, Spin Out, Cryptologic. These are kind of common games. The thing I really like about the Odyssey games is I love the artwork for Odyssey. This, just screams early 80s style, but I love it. I just think these are some of the coolest artwork, ever for a video game system for its era. I just loved it. I thought this, especially this cover, I just love this race car coming at you. That kind of elaborate box art, that's kind of a lost art. I know I'm showing off all these classic games. You're wondering, do I have any modern games? I do. I'll show them for a little bit. here's my stack of Xbox 360, PS2 games. I got a couple GameCube games in here thrown in for collectability. And I won't go too much on these because these are modern games. A lot of people have a lot of these games. These are the controls for the big button games for Seen It, but I think there was a few other games that they could be used on. They were just standard infrared controls, like a remote control. Have a lot of Xbox games, and I got a bunch of them, you know, traded in games, get games on clearance, stuff like that. Few PS2 games. I don't have a ton, not as many as I do for my other systems, you know. But these are just, you know, like Katamari. That's pretty fun. R-Type, of course. You know, some of these games I didn't really get into. Like this Star Trek game is kind of hard. God of War, obviously, is pretty fun. MDK2. I had the Dreamcast game, and I had to get the PS2 game because I thought it was easier to control with dual analog sticks. Unreal Tournament. This is one of my favorite shooters of all time. And other games. Shadow Colossus Killzone. Those are really fun. For the Xbox, this is like these arcade games, these Midway Arcade Treasures. They're kind of hit or miss. Some of them are really good translations. Some of them aren't. Big Mortal Kombat fan. Deception was my favorite of the sort of 3D Mortal Kombat games. A few of these I got really cheap, like Enter the Matrix. I think I got that for like $3 and it sucks. Dragon's Lair 3D, I got that because I'm a big Don Bluth fan. It's kind of hard, it's alright. Some fun games like Crimson Skies, one of the best games for the system. Burnout, I love the Burnout games. Specifically Burnout 2 and 4. 3 was pretty good, but I think 4 did everything 3 did, but did it better. Some more games. Doom, pretty fun. Wolfenstein, this is one of my favorite shooters of all time, right after Halo. Time Splitters games, a lot of fun. Serious Sam games are awesome. Half-Life 2 was great. I got all the Halo games. And just a bunch of other stuff, you know. A bunch of shooters, that's really my thing. Orange Box Quake, that was really hard. All the Fear games, Modern Warfare, Unreal Tournament 3, kind of underrated. I wish more people played that. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was probably one of the better Unreal Tournament games. Wolfenstein, this was a disappointment after the original Return to Wolfenstein. Gears of War, of course, fun. Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe, you know, for a Mortal Kombat game, it was actually pretty fun. It didn't, you know, bother me that it was rated T instead of, you know, M. And of course, you know, I got the Burger King games. They were cheap, and, you know, come on, you gotta have that on your shelf. So that's the last of my game collection. So, like I said, if you're a game enthusiast, I hope you kind of liked watching these.